Happy hump day, everyone, and let's just bring in a new-ish show in stream anthem. And you might recognize the words and the lyrics, but it's a little bit of a different take. I mean, it's the off season, so you gotta find something to do, right? So, and in case you're going, well, it's not morning. It's like the song. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's morning somewhere.
Morning's hazy, coffee's hot. Flip that dial, give it a shot. Bucks might tumble, bolts might blaze. Rays go swinging through their day. Flip that dial, don't be slow. It's the Tampa Motormouth Show. Sports and headlines, fast and bright. Start your morning off just right. You never know what's in store. Tampa Motormouth wants more.
Just decided to give it a little bit of a different flair. We'll have some other ones as it's really cool. I'm just learning the whole AI music thing because the secret. The secret I'm learning because you don't just because you have the style section, but then you can have advanced styles. So it even gives it more instructions in what you want to create. Still not perfect. Still, you have you create something and you listen to it and you're like, I don't like that part, or you create something and you're like, man, that absolutely flipping nailed it. But yeah, it still got a lot of tweaking and a lot of tinkering around that you have to do, and sometimes you want something to be absolutely perfect and on point, because as great as AI can be, still it's remember. But yeah, so it's President's Week, so it's kind of not a whole lot. To quote, I think it was either 5 points or trees that said, and I'm not saying the full phrase, but last night they were like, there's Jack, there's Jack Bleep going on. Yeah, Seattle Seahawks are for sale, and I think I'm a little bit, just a little bit short, just a little bit short of the amount that they're probably looking for to buy the team. As you tend to look at that, you tend to look at all the stories, and already, and you look at all the stories, as you gotta love when you're bringing up the viewer, and the stupid photo viewer that you're trying to look at things doesn't want to work. So, but yeah, the craziest story of all has to be the whole Tony Clark resignation. Not only do you have the financial probe, as probably never a good thing when there's a financial probe into one's administration, and also an even crazier headline that he had an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law. Okay, so he's stepping down, and so you're already having to start off the year, the MLBPA, not exactly what you would call a good place, because everyone's getting ready and pumped up for baseball, especially with football going into hibernation for a while, especially with hockey being off until the end of the month, the NBA coming back from the All-Star break, rookie, and yeah, does he even have the NBA having to do anti-tanking moves and things, and they're doing ways to try to lessen all the tanking. That's just what a mess. All the tanking talk and tanking prevention and how we deal with that. Yeah, the kerfuffle going on with all the suspensions. So yeah, not exactly a good time, one might say, for the NBA. recently, but the Clark thing just crazy because, of course, what's on everybody's mind is the December 2nd deadline, CBA expiring, and just everybody projecting doom and gloom as, of course, what is expected to happen for 2027. We see all the memes, the LA cap really means lockout ahead. Oof, just all the vast gulf of difference between the owners and players, and it just doesn't sound, at least right now, that people are hopeful that there's going to be baseball in 2027. 2026, don't have to worry about this season. I doesn't sound like this season. It's a full hog. Let's go. Let's give the Dodgers another flipping ring. All money that they spent. But yeah, sure sounds like we are headed for a 2027 lockout. Now, one of the stories that popped up, definitely Mike Evans planning on returning for 2026, which is definitely a good news, especially with how his 2025 went, the third and 28 moment, the Monday Night Football injury that was very scary, and just everyone was just glad to have him back, even though things didn't exactly work out well for the Bucks, and how about all the Todd Bowles hiring his son. Yeah, let's see how this year works out. Does Todd Bowles survive and last out the entire season? Yeah, but anywho, of course, other than the whole Clark mess and just, oh boy, that's just, yeah, you can imagine that. So that's one of the big discussions over in baseball's yakking sphere right now this week. Just what's going on with the MLBPA? Hey, oh boy. And of course, you've got Mahomes, of course, being restructured, having his whole contract being restructured. But I think there's all 42 million going to be freed and open up, and they're going to need it because the Chiefs need another wide receiver. They might have immediate needs, depending, of course, on what happens with this whole Rasheem Rice sitch, as of course is now former girlfriend. I'm sure you saw all the very disturbing posts and photos that were very quickly removed and taken down on whatever site they managed to see and find them going, "Ooh, what's going on? What's all this about?" Yikes. But yeah, right now, all that is civil, which is good for Rice because if it maintains on a civil court, civil suit level and doesn't evolve any further, Rasheem Rice may have a literal get out of NFL jail card and not have to worry about facing another suspension. But if it evolves beyond this point, yeah, we could be talking about another suspension, but that's way off in the distance. Have to see all this lands and settles and what happens with the dust after everything is hashed out. But yeah, interesting to definitely keep one's eye on that whole deal. And of course, the other receiver definitely in the news. Oh boy, yeah, Stephon Diggs was old personal chef. You've been following that whole absolute mess with the strangulation and other charges. Good God, yeah, because Rasheem Rice is that's a civil lawsuit, but right now Stephon Diggs is facing major legal charges. We're talking felony type deals. So we'll have to see when everything is settled, everything, what he's charged with, what happens, how the case goes, what he's charged with, what he's not charged with, how what the jury finds. But yeah, I think it's a question of Diggs. It's not a question of whether or not he's going to be suspended for the season. I think it's a question of how many games. How many games is he going to be suspended for, unless for some reason he just miraculously gets completely off scot free and he doesn't get charged with absolutely anything. But yeah, so those are two definite situations to keep one's eyes on. Does the Rasheed Rice civil lawsuit evolve beyond that, then presenting a disciplinary problem potential for Rasheed Rice? And Stephon Diggs is a question of, unless he gets off absolutely completely scot free, how many games is he going to be suspended for the upcoming season? Because apparently there's a everything was made and taken care of behind the scenes and pushed back so he could play in the playoffs and Patriots get to the Super Bowl and get absolutely taken behind the back in the shed and just ooh, having a smack it down late on their candy, you know what? Yeah, that was not a pretty Super Bowl. But yeah, so you got Sheet Rice, definitely worth paying attention to. Stephon Diggs with all that craziness going on. Then, of course, you have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, and of course, being released from Miami as the cheetah now roams free. And the best obvious landing spot has to be the Chiefs, not locked by any stretch in the imagination. But Mahomes, of course, restructuring his salary opens up. But the other thing is that even if, oh yeah, Cheetah's going back to Kansas City, it's going to be a reunion. But keep in mind, you have both Mahomes and Tyreek are coming off of very bad injuries. Tyreek's very serious. So hopefully, you didn't have to see that injury live on Monday Night Football. Very horrific injury. And then Mahomes, just another injury that you've got to be kidding me with everything else that the Chiefs are dealing with. But yeah, so even if Tyreek Hill is signed, he does come to Kansas City. Even with the chemistry, is the chemistry going to be enough? Is the chemistry going to be enough for both Hill and Mahomes to overcome both of their injuries? And Hill's, of course, I would say definitely worse than Mahomes. Mahomes is definitely up there. It is up there. And of course, with Evans, does Evans come back to the Bucks? Does he like what he hears from the front office? Is he like, okay, no, it's going to be a rough ride. It's not going to be easy street by any stretch of this with this defense. Just think that horrific 2014 Falcons game when you're going, how did they lose that? But yeah, because potential that Evans could be the one going to Kansas City. Crazier things have happened in the NFL, but I think I think ultimately it's going it's going to be excuse them all. It's going to be Hill. Hill is either not playing in the NFL 2026 or it's going to be the Chiefs, and more than likely Evans comes back to the Bucks. Those are just the sort of kind of the no duh, the path of least resistance kind of scenarios. But yeah, but like I said, there's not exactly what one would call a whole lot going on right now. There, there's like 5 and 3 said last night. There's Jack going on right now. So yeah, just kind of enjoy, just enjoy the peace. Sort of, sort of keeping an eye on the world and everything else that is absolutely beyond crazy right now. That I'm not getting into. That's the prime directive. Not getting into it. But yeah, the craziness going on is definitely worth keeping tabs on and keeping an eye on, especially with the world geopolitics, good lord, and the files that we hear about every single solitary day. absolutely crazy. But that's it for me. That's it for me. So the Rays, waiting for the Rays to start up. Bolts on Olympic break. Bucks on off season, but you do have the Mike Evans news. He wants to come back for 2026. That's good. It's just what kind of Mike Evans will be for 2026, especially given his age. I mean, I know he is a leaping good player, but still, Father Time is undefeated. So take care, stay safe, and I'll wrap again with you another time as we sail through the off season as looking port and starboard, mateys. Are there any stories out there, Captain? Avast! I see a story on the horizon. Yo ho! Set the sail, target the cannons, and let us go forth and plunder. And I'm gonna go and plunder some more stories and see you next time. And I'm Joel Verlin.